I'm live. Okay. Friday, January 3rd, in the new year, 2025. And boy, we're starting out the year with a bang, aren't we? No pun intended. All right, so I'm going to jump right into this. This may be a longer than usual video because I got a lot on my mind, a lot to say. So if you don't want to watch the whole thing in one setting, I get it. But I do encourage you to watch the entirety of it. As I noted on my Facebook page, if I haven't managed to piss some of you off yet, I may get to you in this video. So, big doings in the news right now. We know about the bombing in Las Vegas, the car bomb. That's probably not what it really was, but we'll call it that. And then the terror attack in New Orleans. And of course, as you might expect, the government and the media are gaslighting you at every opportunity. And it was a terror attack. No, it wasn't a terror attack. Yeah, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. Is it any wonder that the media has lost any credibility it may have had? I mean, if they told me the sun was going to rise in the east tomorrow morning, I'd get up to check and make sure because I wouldn't believe them. And I'm going to, in the description with this video, I've posted some links for you to check out on your own. One thing that really irritates the shit out of me is having to do other people's research for them because they're just so trifling and lazy and they just don't want to be bothered with it. They want to believe what the TV tells them, and doing research means they might have to take time out of their busy day and learn something on their own. It's so much easier to just have someone tell you, isn't it? So I'm including the video that has precipitated the one that I'm making, and the guy who made it is from his podcast. His name is Sean Ryan. Some of you probably already know him. And you can look up his bona fides. And when I say you, I mean, again, I know most of you know who he is. I don't listen to him all that much. I've seen clips of his stuff, but I've never watched an entire podcast until today. So when I say you guys, I mean the left, the liberals, the progressives, the Democrats, the people who just want to believe everything the news media tells them, the people who, for some reason in recent years, seem to think the government is their friend and the government cares about them. So they're the ones I'm talking to. I know some of you see my videos. You don't like them. You don't want to. And once you see them, I always find it amazing. Just a quick aside here. I always find it amazing when I make one of these videos or if I post something on my Facebook page that's particularly controversial, all of a sudden the attempts to hack into my Facebook page pick up. I get notices from Meta or Facebook, whatever you want to call it now, saying, someone just tried to log into your account from so-and-so from New York or from New Jersey or from wherever. Was this you? So it's obvious, they can't handle someone with a different opinion. If they don't like it, they're going to try to hack into your page and screw things up if they can. Isn't that interesting? So morally superior, so much more the mature adult than us right-wingers, right? Funny that. Anyway, Sean's talking to a guy who's in the industry, the intelligence business, if you will, and they're talking about the car exploding in Las Vegas. Now, I already had some questions about that. One of the things I had a question about, anybody who knows anything about police work, forensic work, autopsies, things of that sort, they know that this isn't stuff where you just walk in and go, oh yeah, he was 6'3", 3 gunshot wounds to the chest, and they come up with, they have all these particulars that you and I know take sometimes hours, days, even weeks to put together. But within hours of the incident, well, we knew that the guy in the car actually died from a gunshot, self-inflicted gunshot wound, not the explosion itself. and they could identify him by a tattoo that was on his arm, whatever was left of it. But again, within hours, we knew who the guy was. Isn't that amazing? All of a sudden, forensic science has gotten faster. So I immediately had some questions. Now, as you'll see in the video from Sean Ryan, excuse me, they had some questions too. Some of them were answered by the guy who was supposed to be the guy in the car. But again, you'll see more and learn more when you watch Sean's video. And again, that's a 1 hour long video too. So I know I'm asking you to sit through 2 hours. Well, I hope mine's not an hour, but anyway, I'm asking you to sit through an hour or more of video. But I'm hoping, if you choose to do so, you might actually learn something. And at the very least, I'm hoping it's going to pique your curiosity and get you to thinking about some things. Now, one of the things I will say about Sean's video is this is just one more reason why, if my children were of age to join the military, I would do everything that I possibly could to dissuade them from making that decision. Because all the military is in this country, and I'm sure it is in others, they are pawns to be used by a powerful elite who benefit from sending them around the world doing their bidding while the rest of us get shit on, as usual, especially veterans. Have you watched TV lately and seen the commercials about these organizations that try to help veterans who come back from battle theaters and they've got limbs missing, they've got post-traumatic stress, all the different issues that go with having been in combat. But they need help from private organizations? What do we pay taxes for? Hey, here's an idea. Instead of sending hundreds of billions of dollars to Ukraine or to Israel, how about you spend it on our veterans? First, you send them off to war to fight your stupid little wars that mean nothing to us, that don't have anything to do with protecting the United States of America. And then when they come back, and as one might expect, they are damaged in one or more ways, you don't have enough money to take care of them. They have to go to a private organization to get prosthesis, to get the psychological help that they need. The hell is wrong with you? And all you, my friends out there, my Republican right-wing friends, this is on you too. Don't pretend like you don't have a part in this. You vote for these ass clowns. Because all they got to do is wave the flag, and you snap to and sing the song, and oh my God, there are heroes in uniform. Well, let me tell you something about your heroes in uniform. Some of you don't know this stuff. You should, and I've tried to tell you, but of course, I get labeled as some kind of conspiracy nut, even though this stuff is verified, and that some of the links that I put in this video at the bottom will verify that. It was your heroes in uniform, the U.S. Army, that sprayed St. Louis with cadmium sulfide back in the 1950s so they could test the results of exposure to toxic carcinogens on U.S. soil, on U.S. citizens, U.S. Army, United States government. Think I'm wrong? Look at the links I put in there. And you could do some research on your own if you care to, but you don't really care to, do you? No, because that would clash with your worldview. And we can't have that. So I've put some links in there. And that's not the only thing the Army's done. If it was just that one thing, okay, maybe we could let it slide as being a generational thing. Maybe it was just that group of soldiers or leadership. And don't think that the soldiers are exempt from this. A couple of these links go into the fact that soldiers are used as guinea pigs by the Army, by our government, to test chemicals and drugs on them without their knowledge. Did you hear what I said? Without their knowledge. They weren't told, oh, we're experimenting on you. We're using you to see what this drug or this chemical will do to your mind and to your body. You think they'd get a lot of volunteers for that if they told them what they were really doing? So no, I wouldn't want my kids being exposed to that stuff. And can we be honest? Well, I know I can. I'm just wondering if any of you can. The U.S. military it no longer exists for the purpose of defending our nation. That stopped a long time ago. It exists now to be used as political pawns, to maintain the empire, to use as a bludgeon instrument against other countries, to use to threaten them with. Well, if you don't play ball with us, or, you don't let us have access to your resources, who knows what might happen. And so, as Sean talks about in his video, this guy who was supposed to be the car bomber, current U.S. military in the intelligence services, was going to blow the whistle on the U.S. military and some of the unethical and immoral things that it did over in the Middle East as far as bombing civilians. Well, isn't it a coincidence that all of a sudden that guy decides to shoot himself in the head and blow up a car bomb outside of Trump Tower? Coincidence? So, when you sit there and you start analyzing these situations and you start asking yourself some questions, as I would hope you would, you have to ask yourself, why is this so convoluted? Why is this so complicated? Now, the media and the government would like you to believe it's just a simple case of some crazy guy who got radicalized, or in one case, they want you to believe his wife left him, so he was depressed. This guy, by the way, is an expert in things like building bombs, but apparently not expert enough to build a bomb that could really hurt anybody. Just blows up the car he's sitting in. Filled it with fireworks. Really? What, did he want to put on a show? So you have to ask yourself, what was the point of that? If this guy's an expert in these things, if he could have easily, with his knowledge and skill set, built a bomb that could have not only hurt a lot of people, but could have done some serious damage to that building, then why didn't he? If that was his purpose, if that's what he wanted to do. So, again, just these things pop up in my head sometimes when I see these situations come up, and I just ask questions that no one seems to want to answer. And why is it so complicated, news media? Why is it so complicated, government agencies? Why can't it just be a simple matter of some crazy guy who just wanted to get his name in the news for posterity? But no, there's more to it, and you're going to find out what it is. I think one of the problems I have, here's the problem with the two parties. The left, the liberals, the Democrats, they don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear any conflicting news. They don't want to hear anything that conflicts with their worldview or with whatever the party tells them they should think. And when I say the party, that includes the news media, because we all know the news media is in the pocket of the Democrat Party, because they're all liberals. The problem I have with the right, the conservatives, the Republicans, is they just wrap themselves in the flag, and put on those blinders and say, oh, they're heroes in uniform. They're good American patriots. They would never do anything to harm fellow Americans, would they? Of course not. So you've got your own blind spot, right? Just like the left has theirs. And it's all about which party is the better party. In the meantime, the rest of the country is going to shit But as long as the party's doing okay, or as long as you got invited to the right parties and got your name in the paper with something positive said next to it, no, that's all good. What does the Department of Homeland Security do anymore? Now, I remember some of you who've been around for a while remember back in the early 2000s when we got the Department of Homeland Security. I was one of the first people to step up and say, why are we getting another government agency someplace else to spend more tax money? Well, we were told, were we not, that we needed an agency with the power and the authority to coalesce, to gather together all the information from the various other security agencies to come up with a better, more clear, big picture of the security scene in America. Because the FBI, the CIA, the NSA, and any other security agencies out there were gathering information from their different agents and perspectives, but they weren't sharing it. We could have prevented the 9/11 attacks if these agencies had just shared, each of them, the little pieces of the puzzle that they had gathered and put it all together. But they didn't do that because they all wanted credit. If there were going to be arrests made, well, we want to get the credit. We want to get the kudos. We want our guy to be on TV telling the news media how we did it. Well, along comes Department of Homeland Security, and their purpose is to gather that information from all those different agencies. But the problem with that way of thinking is those agencies still have to give over that information to DHS. Well, DHS, just like all the other security agencies, have been weaponized against the American people. They're not looking over the ocean at different countries. They're spying on you and me more than they're spying on somebody from Afghanistan. Hell, the Patriot Act, remember that? Well, you can't be against the Patriot Act. It has the word patriot in it, right? But that gives the FBI the authority to spy on you and me without getting a warrant. They don't need a warrant. They don't need to prove anything. They just got to say, oh, well, XYZ over here, we think he might have been having some conversations with somebody from Afghanistan who may or may not have been radicalized, but we need to check into him to see if, in fact, that could be the case. Well, where's your proof? Well, you just don't have any, really. You just made a couple of phone calls. Don't need a warrant. The NDAA, if the government, National Defense Authorization Act, by the way. I know, again, some of you liberals probably don't even know what the hell that is. NDAA says if the government, a government agent, it doesn't even have to be an agency. If it's just one agent in that agency and they think, well, there's something suspicious about this guy, we need to check into him. And while we're checking his background and his bank accounts and all of his acquaintances, we're going to lock him up. No charges. We can't charge him because he hasn't done anything, but we can lock him up and hold him indefinitely without due process of law. He cannot talk to a lawyer. He cannot see his family. We can hold him as long as we want. And that was voted for by Republicans and Democrats. And again, if you don't know this stuff, shame on you. If you're not willing to hear it and look it up and see that it's true, I don't know what else I can tell you. I mean, you're lost. You're hopeless. Just go drive off a cliff for all I care. But that's what you're up against. Now, I've heard a lot of my friends lately. I've seen it on my Facebook page. I've heard it in the news. I see it out on the streets. Everybody's all excited because Trump's president now. Excuse me. A couple more weeks. The madness ends and America returns to normal. All right, if that helps you get through the day, fine. You think Trump's going to fix all this? Really? What kind of power do you imagine Trump has that he's going to fix all this? This is too deeply ingrained, folks. These are people who are not only elected by you and me, They've been appointed. They're not. We have no control over them. We have no recourse. We can't just say, all right, next election, we're getting rid of that guy. Nobody voted for him in the first place. He was appointed. So you're going to have to just clean sweep the entire government. And I'm not just talking about the federal level. You got plenty of issues at the local and state level to deal with. People who don't understand the Constitution, people who don't understand the proper role of government, people who literally do not like this country and want to see it changed. And to change it, that means to destroy what it was meant to be, to create what they want it to be. But what do we do with them? We used to hang traitors, didn't we? But see, you can't even say that anymore. And in fact, this video and my YouTube page may very well get suspended because I actually said that. I'm going to say it again. We used to hang traitors. Okay, maybe we shouldn't hang them. Maybe a firing squad. Just stand them up against the wall. But if you're trying to undermine, subvert, and destroy the very essence of this country and what it was meant to be, you're an enemy. I don't care whether you're white, black, male, female, Muslim, Christian, Jew. I don't care who you are. If you're trying to destroy this country from within, you are an enemy. And enemies should be hanged. Put it on pay-per-view. Make it a spectacle. Make people notice. Let the people who are still out there fomenting this subversion see what they have to look forward to. Because right now, nothing has changed and nothing is likely to change because no one suffers. There are no consequences. Now, I hope I'm wrong. I hope Trump impresses me. I hope he goes out there, they find some of these people, they are able to show, here's the proof that this guy did this, and hang them. And let everybody see it. When people start paying a price, then you'll see things change. In the meantime, if all you do is move them from one department to another agency, or just give them a demotion, or terminate their employment with a $5 million golden umbrella or some such shit, nothing's going to change because they've lost nothing. In fact, in many cases, with situations like I just said, they probably gained something. I think another problem we have in our country, and I can say this with confidence because I've heard people express this. I've seen the look of dismay on people's faces when we start talking about the evil that our government does. And people think that way because the people doing this, they're human beings, just like you and me, right? They're Americans in many cases, fellow Americans, people who were born here, people who went to school in the United States of America, people who got jobs in the United States of America. And they're the ones doing this stuff. And people, I can't believe anybody would do something like that. That's so low. That's so evil. That's not possible for fellow Americans to do that to their own fellow citizens, is it? So once you get past that and you understand that the evil that people do knows no borders, it doesn't care about citizenship. It's just fucking evil. Does that bother you? Do you not like hearing it put that way? Tough. Get over it. Because I'm pissed off right now. When I'm pissed off, as my friends will tell you, I tend to cuss a lot. So, in fact, I'm actually restraining myself quite a bit tonight because I'm about as pissed off as I've been in a long time when it comes to the shit that our government does. I don't know how else to get this across to people. If you can watch Sean Ryan's video, if you can hear his interview with the gentleman who works in security services, if you can listen to them read the emails that they received from the Las Vegas car bomber, And you can finish watching that video and come away with, so what? You're hopeless. You're an idiot. You deserve anything bad that happens to you, and I have no sympathy for you. Does the United States of America mean anything to you? Does the idea of citizen government, does the idea of a constitution, which, by the way, in case you weren't aware, the idea of a constitution that restricts government power, not you and me, restricts the government's power. If that doesn't appeal to you, if you don't feel some sort of desire to protect that, then go to hell. Just go straight to fucking hell. I don't want anything to do with you. I don't want to know you. You are my enemy, and I will seek every opportunity I can find to destroy you instead of standing by and letting you destroy my country. Now, for anyone out there, right, left, or in the middle, who doesn't like what I just said, who is uncomfortable because of what I just said, tough. Stop. Get off my Facebook page. Don't watch my YouTube videos. That's simple. If it hurts your feelings that much, see ya. But this shit's got to stop. And folks, it's not going to stop until people are held accountable. And when I say accountable, you know what I mean. I'm not talking about going to prison. I'm not talking about having a cellmate named Bubba who's going to make you his bitch. I'm talking about rope and a tall tree branch. Or it'd be cheaper if you just want to use some bullets. That's the only way this shit's going to change. That's the only thing that's going to change it. Donald Trump being in office, if you want to keep kidding yourself into thinking that's going to fix things, he had a chance once to drain the swamp. I didn't see much happen with that. So if you think he's going to drain it this time, he's got 4 years to try again, but I think it's going to take more than 4 years, and it's going to take a hell of a lot more than just firing some people or prosecuting some people. If you think that's what it's going to take, if you think all you have to do is vote harder the next election, or pray harder, or whatever it is you choose to do, maybe sacrifice a virgin to a volcano or something, I think you're deluding yourself. Human nature is what we're dealing with. And there are things that human nature understands, things that evil understands. And when you're dealing with evil, I don't care from what perspective you're looking at it, whether it's religious or secular. When you're dealing with evil, there's only one language evil understands. And that is, I'm going to destroy you. I'm not putting up with your crap. I'm not playing games. I tried to be nice about this. I tried to point out the shortcomings and the bad things and what you need to do to change. And it's obviously not working. So we got to start speaking a language they understand. But I know who I'm talking to. You guys can't deal with that. You don't want to deal with that. You don't even want to think about it. But here we are. So the guy in New Orleans, we'll find out more later, but based on what we see so far, he's probably radicalized and then it was a terror attack. The guy in Las Vegas, they're going to piggy bank on that in the news. Well, see, this guy in New Orleans did this, and this guy did that over here in Las Vegas, so they must have been in cahoots. They were working together. It's all part of a program, and they're turning them loose now. Instead of what it probably really is, and that is this guy was going to be a whistleblower. He was going to point out some things that the military was doing that is immoral, illegal, they shouldn't have been doing. And they can't have that. They can't have that guy talking. So you can think of me what you want. You can dismiss this whole video. You can think I'm just another crazy conspiracy nut like I know many of you probably do already. And you can listen to Sean Ryan's video that I've included with this. and you can think. Put the emotions aside, put your party affiliation aside, put your favorite TV newscaster aside, and use your brain. Think. Understand the evil that you're dealing with. And that's what it is. It's just evil. There are people in this world, as Sun Tzu said, there are people in this world, and rulers, I think is the word he used. There are rulers in this world who are so evil they would burn their own country to the ground to rule over the ashes. Think about that. Think about what you see going on in our country now. Think about all the things in the news that just seem to be such a coincidence. Since I've already spent this much time, here's another coincidence. All of a sudden, the Food and Drug Administration is issuing all sorts of recalls on foods because of E. coli and other types of bacteria and viruses and just stuff that can make you sick, right? Where's that been in the last 4 or 5 years? Now, all of a sudden, the FDA has remembered it has a job to do. How about the chicken processing plants, the meat processing plants that over the last 3 or 4 years have coincidentally, mysteriously, all of a sudden had explosions or burned to the ground? Bird flu, avian flu is making a comeback. And I read an article just recently where Pfizer and other big pharma companies are developing a bird flu vaccine. So how much longer before we're going to be told, well, you either got to get the vaccine or you can't go to work, can't go to school, can't go to church. No, we can't spread that bird flu. Now, isn't it odd that all this stuff is happening after a multi-billionaire by the name of Bill Gates decides, one, I think we need to reduce the population of the planet because the resources of our planet can't sustain such a large population. Then he decides, you need to eat artificial meat. I'm developing an artificial meat that needs to take the place of real meat. Then he buys up all the farmland. He's the largest owner of farmland in the United States, Bill Gates. Then he decides you need to eat bugs. But, oh, Floyd, that's crazy talk. What could Bill Gates do? Money. Money. Come on, guys. I don't care. Liberal, conservative, whoever you are, you know the saying. You know how it goes. People will do anything for money. You can buy anything. Hell, we don't own Congress. Multi-billionaires own Congress. Corporate tech giants own Congress. You don't own it. You don't have any. They don't listen to you. They don't give two shits about what you think. But if you can come in there with a couple of $1 million for their next campaign, well, they'll listen to you then. I mean, again, think. Is this all just a coincidence? All of these sudden recalls by the FDA, all these fires and explosions in meat processing plants, the bird flu making a comeback. I tell you what, with the bird flu, if you guys fall for that mask and separation shit again, shame on you. You need to be slapped upside the head. Well, I suppose I could go on, but if you don't get the point by now, you don't want to. So watch Sean Ryan's video. Whether you subscribe to his channel or not, it's up to you. I intend to start watching more of his stuff. But if you can come away from that video and still wish to remain as apathetic and ignorant as you have been previously, and good luck to you. I hope it all works out for you. All right. So that should be enough for now. Have a good weekend.